Good morning. Whoa! How's everybody doing tonight? Or today? Early. Well, not super early. Uh, this morning edition of the Charles Faulkner Jr. Show. Hmm. Everybody liked the topic of black masculinity in the 21st century. I'm pretty sure people are going to love the topic of black fatherhood in the 21st century. If you're watching, give me a holler. Let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're alive. I know it's gonna be so many people in the morning having so many live shows. So it's gonna be tedious when it comes to viewership, but the show goes on. What's up, Grinder? I gotta link up with you sometime, man. You know it's really strange about fatherhood in the black community? It's looked at it interchangeably. It's looked at as something that you could put to the side. It's not a necessity. Well, he doesn't have to raise these kids. I could do it all by myself. And all you see is failure because of that. Mediocrity at best. But you know, it's going to hurt people's heads and hurt their hearts. They're being mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. You're in a gynocracy that devalues fatherhood. What does that say about black fatherhood? I think now, out of any time, is the time for black fathers to go get custody, either joint or full. I think this is the best time out of any time black fathers should really put their money and their resources together and kick over this damn table we call gynocratic rule. If you don't have any black fathers, you don't have any growth. You don't have any standards. You don't have any discipline. So you're not going to have any culture. You're not going to have a civilization. Sorry. Too many times we look at fatherhood as, well, you don't have to be here or not. And then let's really look at black fatherhood, because most of the time, black fatherhood is thrust upon you. You don't have a choice. They want you to pay the money, pay for everything, but not have a say, not have a rule. Incredible, right? Freaking incredible. 1 p.m. Black young men and old on disability is left out. Woo. Tune in, man. Tune in. See, in our community, how many children are actually planned? I'll give you an example of one of my wrestlers who graduated. Young lady's pregnant. She wants to keep the baby. She's only, what, 19? Her mother's in her ear. Well, it's not your decision. It's not his decision. It's yours. So you can already tell. And here she says that. My wrestler says, I heard your voice in the back of my damn head. Yep. Her mother's a ratchet. So what you think kind of morals and values she's going to instill in that girl? What do they always tell you? Don't trust the big butt and the smile. There's a reason for that. Nobody gives a fuck about what plans the man has. Nobody cares. His future, his life, his legacy, you don't give a damn. But you're going to have a child you can't afford, he can't afford, because your mother said, oh, you could do this. But that same mother is going to be the one who doesn't want to watch the baby when you go to work. When you want to go on your little outings, now it's her grandchild, but she doesn't want to watch it. Remember this, and remember this very, very clearly, young people. The more you have children, the less people are going to watch it. Everybody wants to support the little boy or girl when they're coming out the womb, but when it comes to raising it, everybody's hands off. Then they want to have this stupid. I'm gonna tell you this one thing. I'm a big believer in this, and I've never been married, but I have a son. You should never have a baby shower unless you're married. Fuck that. Y'all treating these gender reveals like it's fucking wedding proposals or an actual wedding. No, 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 hell no. Why am I gonna shower you for doing it incorrectly? That's the equivalent of giving a kid a PlayStation 5 for getting all F's on his report card. The hell are we doing? So everybody wants to put all this money into a gender reveal and all this other bullshit. And fatherhood is usually in the black community thrust upon you because if you don't take care of the child, you're gonna be guilted. So let's really break this down. Too many women, one, look at fatherhood as interchangeable. They look at men as interchangeable. They want you to play the role of stepdaddy. Once you play the role of stepdaddy, you have all the responsibilities, none of the disciplinary power. And if you don't get along with the children, she's mad at you. Once again, what are the benefits of playing stepdaddy? Once again, why get into a relationship, get close with the kids as soon as you break up? Do you think you're going to keep contact with those kids? No. Those same kids you helped raise for 3, 4, 5, 10 years go off to be something great, which was your help. Who do you think's going to take the credit? Look at Zion. Stepfather showed him everything he knew to make him an NBA star. First round draft pick, right? He thanked his mother, who was not shooting with him in the gym, who was not teaching him the skills and techniques where he needs to be, but she gets thanked over everybody else. Why? She wasn't going to teach you to become an NBA level athlete. Why? Because you bought into the notion that fatherhood is interchangeable. What's up, AB? It's forced upon you. You don't get a say in it majority of the time, do you, black men? Even to the point, shout out to Saint Drake, hallowed be thy name, and his hot sauce chronicles. Even when these chicks try to inseminate themselves with with a condom, which makes me think that a lot of these broads out here are just nasty if you're digging through the trash with all that stuff in a trash can that could give you an infection in the walls of your vagina alone is so damn sensitive. It's an incubator. You basically are trying to create it to become a cesspool. You're forcing people not even to have a decision. And then let's get even deeper into fatherhood, right? The only time fatherhood is respected is usually, let's Kareem, hey sexy. Let's get to the point. Too many times in the black community, fatherhood's only respected is when you need to play the sheriff. Can't talk to stepdaddy. She's not gonna allow it, but she still wants you to take care of them damn kids. Now, have I done things when I dated women with the kindness of their heart? Sure. For the kids, sure. But you better not make sure my son is assed out. And here's the point. My son better receive just as much for each kid as you gave. And I do have the very right to decide if and or when I can use my money if I want to pay for that child who is not mine. What's up, Tampa? Too many times in the black community have we guilted, forced, and bamboozled men into fatherhood. It's not as sacred as mother in this community. Why? Because look at what the relationship throughout history of the Americas, black men and black women, have been under. Black women were not brought here to be your women. They were brought to be concubines to white men. So they already thought they were better than you. Let's take it to modern times. The only thing she really wants from you is your seed. And back in the day, historically, the only way a girl could get out of her mama's house was to get married. Now it's just to have a baby. Hold on for a second, folks. Hold on. I'm back. Shout out to Barry Little for the super chat. Woo! See, we got to look at how growing up black in America, how many of us have been robbed of our fatherhood. Yes, you have a few guys out there who will never be shit, never have been shit, never will be shit. But how many times have these situations been where the mother fiendishly, underhandedly tried to take control of the kids and use them as pawns. See, you got to ask this real question. What's more important, the father or the money? Because most fathers out here will really tell you, because out of many of men, I've heard but two or three say they would just pay the child support and not be bothered. But most men, if they had a choice, either pay child support or take the child, they would take the child and not even ask for anything. Most black men do not want to be bothered with court. Hell, I've been a cop for years, and I didn't want to be bothered with court, and that was part of the fucking gig some days. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. See, a lot of times we have to take in consideration what goes on in our community that differs from others. We put too much emphasis on motherhood and not even thinking of the ramifications of what does that make your sons, your little boys feel when they become men of age. Too many men out here are committing crimes, destroying neighborhoods, and doing dastardly things because they never had a father's love, a father's discipline, and a father's encouragement. Mom can only do but so much. Even the best moms can only do but so much. And it's been proven time and time again. It's not what Officer Faulkner says. It's not what you say. It's what the stats say. We bastardize fatherhood as just the nigga who pays but have no rule. It's okay. It's okay to look at your father and say, well, he wasn't shit. But the least you could do was get his side of the story. And a lot of us do not understand what your fathers had to go through until you become one. I promise you that. I promise you that. In the black community, stepdaddy is sometimes more revered than the actual daddy. See, let's tell the secret. How many chicks out here, willy-nilly with their womb, go out, get pregnant by Tom, Dick, and Harry, who she knew were not going to be good fathers, but she still had the expectation of having a man, and most times with no kids of his own, and sometimes, I won't say most, sometimes not having kids of his own, still take care of her kids. And then here's the crazy part. Will have the audacity not to give kids to her new husband. But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me though. Won't even give you a legacy, but wants you to take care of another man's. I mean, the least you could do if you married her, she'd give you a legacy of your own. And God forbid if the kids are out of line, you can't talk to them, you can't discipline them, you can't use corporal punishment. No, you can't do that. How many times do men sign up for that shit? How many? How many? Signing up for a losing battle most of the time. See, back in the day, stepdaddy, especially in our mom and grandmother's day, stepdaddy was revered because he kept that damn family together. He was respected by the mother. He was respected by them damn children. And what he said was the law. Now, he didn't abuse anybody. He was fair. You might have had a couple of assholes here and there, but at least he was fair. But, you know, there's a reason why you hear in stories throughout the ages of the evil stepmother and not the evil stepfather. I'll just keep that right there. Hold on to that. Put a notation right there. Come back to that later. How many times was that stepfather, which is some of your grandfathers, maybe even your father, the guy who raised you, how much respect does he still get? And trust me, being a stepfather is not an easy task. Not an easy task. I do not envy the men who have to be that. Because anytime you try to give it too straight to the boy, here comes mommy to the rescue. If it's a little girl, you might as well have a satellite, the HRT team from the FBI, Dev Group, SEAL Team 6, and Delta Force watching your every move. It is very hard to sign up for that shit, especially if I've lived with a woman who had kids, boys and girls, and it does not it does not compute. Because if I'm buying food in the house and the teenage daughter decided to bring her friends and y'all eating up all the shit that's supposed to be for the house, get the fuck out the house. And then here's the crazy part. She tried to call her mom like that was going to do something. Because I wanted to see what she was going to do. If she would have said, I'm wrong, fuck you, I'm out, and I'm taking my food with me. So it's not a good thing. If you can make it work, God bless you, but usually it's not. It's a headache. It's a fucking headache. So, what is fatherhood in the 21st century? Are you only the father because you pay money? Are you the father because you bestow wisdom, or you're just the father because you inseminate? What rights do you have? Can you literally say, I don't want to be a father? Abort, abort, abort. And if you suggest abortion, look how every female in the world will be guilty of you. But if you can't pay child support, they'll guilt you as well. Pick a fucking struggle, please. This is the world where we live in. If you decide, hey, I can't afford a kid right now, we're going to have to abort this situation. Oh, here comes the mama. I'm gonna, oh, I'm gonna guilt you. Oh, why can't you? You just want to kill a baby. Oh my God, you're just cruel. You're so mean. But not one time did anybody say, hey, let's think this through. I've seen it where the mother of the son will even try to guilt him. But too many situations, she'll be whining and crying. I can't watch this baby. You're the one that said I should have it. And let's be very serious. Let's be very serious. Too many women out here are willy-nilly with their womb. So they don't even know what a good father is. And we got to take the blinders off in our community thinking that every woman who's a mother is a great individual. That's bull and shit. If I can't say every father's a great individual, then I'm not going to say every mother's a great individual. Sorry. A lot of chicks out here are willy-nilly. You can't say the nigga was deadbeat and and you got pregnant off a one night stand. No, 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 no. You played with your fucking pussy basically like Russian roulette. That's what happened. Just like my boy, shout out to Ali. You put your dick on the crack table. Yeah, you play with your pussy like Russian roulette. But see, the difference between black motherhood and black fatherhood is that black motherhood doesn't have to be accountable. See, 21st century black fatherhood, you could do everything for your child, and it's never enough in the eyes of the courts, the mother, the family, or society. Give me a woo if you think I'm telling the goddamn truth. It's never enough. Even when you say, give me my kids so I can raise them properly, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go against the opposition. Why? Why? For what? All you want to do is just raise your child properly. Sup, cat? Long time no see, right? And we're not talking about some deadbeat guys because the deadbeats are far and few between. We're talking about the guys who really want to be intricate in their children's lives. And there are too many mothers out there because you didn't make it or he didn't want to be with you that you keep that burden You keep that bitterness and you take it out on your damn child by taping them away from their father, by going to the courts and extorting him for money, trying to get full custody like he did something to the child. But then when the child becomes messed up and a failure, you want to blame the motherfucker you kept him away from. Make that make sense. Or as everybody like the way I put it, no sense does that make. None whatsoever. You will spend more money trying to keep the man away from the child than on the child itself. Shout out to the mothers that said the father is very important to that child, because y'all need to do some convincing with the majority. And how many out there have children only to get them out of their situation? Looking at you, Brittany Renner. How many times have you seen it? I'm going to keep him. I'm going to force him to do this. You don't even get child support to support the child. You get it just to be vindictive. And I'm just wondering how many children are with their father on child support and they're still going to public school. No tutor, no private or parochial or Catholic schooling. Where does the money go? If I was governor of Maryland, the state which I reside, Governor Faulkner would would make an executive order to say, hey, you pay 10 to 20%, you pay 10 to 20%. We're going to both give you debit cards for this child. You can only, and you're going to have to take pictures, and you can only, with the receipts, and you can only buy for that child. And I think that's fair. You should not be able to buy wine and red bottoms and all kinds of shit with child support. Now, people are going to ask me before I go into that. Bud Boiling said the only time they hold a mother accountable is when she is directly responsible for killing her own child. Yes and no, because think about it. A lot of them raise their children in poverty, which is the direct result of a lot of fucking children either being killed, maimed, or destroyed. Even to the point where the father lives in a better location, has a better job, they will still hold on to those children like they're the winning lottery ticket from 2 years ago. Already cashed the money out. You still holding on to that damn ticket. I've been to calls where the daughter called for the mother, for the father. The father's there. The mother's so hell bent. She's on these psychotropic drugs to keep her brain stable. House looks like a wreck. Doesn't even want to give his 13-year-old daughter to the father. And I told her, ma'am, she's looking for her daddy's love. Either give her to her daddy or you're going to be a grandmother by 15. Well, the courts gave me. I'm sorry. Why did the courts give it to you? You got all your other kids running around. I can't handle this all by myself. But you refuse to give the children to the father. So I'm going to ask this question again. What is black fatherhood in the 21st century? Well, you could have gave us the boys at 6, and the boy would have turned out overachieving. You want to give us the boy at 16 and not admit failure, not admit that you were wrong, not admit that you didn't know what the hell you were doing. How about that? You didn't want to say, let's plan for this child's future. You just look at the here and now. All that money given to child support, which you know the court's probably taking 35 to 45% of it. And what do you have to show for that child? I've always asked this to so many women, even women that are close to me. Why did you take the man to child support? If you want him to pay the bill, why don't you give him the child? Well, he's not going to properly raise him. Then why have a baby by him? Huh? Huh? No integrity, no accountability. Sorry. If you I'd rather you not call the guy as a father. I'd rather you just say what it was. I just wanted to have a baby by this guy because I know there was going to be little to no opposition of getting custody and child support for this baby. I've always said who you have kids by says a lot about you. Who you deal with says a lot about you, man. My son's mother. Oh boy, you talk about some fucking growing pains there. You barely even hear me talk about her, if at all. I've gotten that problem down to a non-factor. What say you? Think about it. If you didn't want to have a child, how many men out there in the black community can say, no, I don't want to have a child, and the baby gets aborted? Even if you listen to us and make, you still would have the baby anyway because you come up with this fucking logic in your head that says, I don't believe in abortion, but your ass believes in fornication. So if the father allegedly can't make a decision, how much power does the father truly have? How many of these broads right now are skipping town, going town to town, keeping their children away from the father for no apparent reason, but just to be spiteful? Once again, can somebody in the chat answer me? What's the value of fatherhood? The value of fatherhood, if you research it, your child is less likely to be sexually or physically assaulted by a stranger because he has a daddy protecting him, he or she. What's up, Snowman? We don't want to talk about this issue because it's very touchy to a lot of people. We know good and damn well that fatherhood is very important to a child's life, but we in the black community treat it very frivolously. Why? Because you have a lot of people out there who just can't admit they're wrong, who can't admit their faults. They cannot say, you know what, I was wrong. Imagine telling women, getting a lot of women to say that I was wrong. No, what they're gonna do is some fucking hood rat Tasha K shit and double down on stupid. This Tasha K shit is a very good example of the modern day black woman doubling down on stupid. The woman came to you and said, hey, we're both mothers, we're both wives, we're better than this. Is there any way we could settle this? And then here it comes. You playing on my phone. I don't know, I'm playing. Now you're almost $4 million in a fucking hole you owe her. Doubling down on stupid. See the fact that I've been on calls, seen that the fathers living a better life can better take care of the children. Will double down on stupid and keep those kids in that fucking project and that bondage and that fucked up neighborhood. We had a woman in Baltimore. All three of her sons are dead from living in a fucking crime infested neighborhood. One son was killed because he was out on the block, no daddy. Another one was killed at the first one's funeral. The last one, you think she did something about it? Fuck no. That's sad, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Snowman. Think about it. Think about it. How many men that deserve to be fathers aren't even allowed to be involved off of one woman's bitterness? Now, I can understand if the guy was an asshole, he was abusive, a drug addict, some shit like that. But how many cases of that really exist? Because a lot of these times, a lot of women do not just up and say, hey, this guy's abusive all of a sudden. No, the motherfucker was usually that way when you met him and you ignored it. And trust me, this week, either tonight or tomorrow, we're going to talk about the choices that a lot of women make and fathers. So don't you worry, because the value of picking a good father is coming up soon. Statistically, children exceed expectations when the father is either in the house with them or heavily involved. Why, oh why do we not value that? I'm starting to believe the black community or black mothers and black women do not want to see their children better than them, like a man would. I'm starting to believe that a lot of this insanity is due to a lot of jealousy of the children. Think about it. There are mothers who get jealous of their kids because the father's around. And if her father wasn't there, she'll get jealous of her own children. Sad but true. So true. Hmm. Yeah, their pettiness is beyond 9,000. Well, 90,000. Hell yeah. Knowing that the person is a better parent, you can't even admit it. See, I'm going to tell you what black fatherhood is not in the 21st century. It's not being the last resort after you done having your hot girl lifestyle and having a bunch of kids and then getting with a fucking guy and making him a stepfather. It's not part-time daddying. It's not 911. I need the sheriff or the police to come fix this boy because he's becoming too strong and too big for me to abuse. Which, come on now, we know y'all abuse your children. Only time some of you even want your father there, want the father there, is to be an ATM and to be a disciplinarian if he's lucky. Take care of him. I can't handle him no more. How many people are getting kids and you're not even allowing, you're not even forcing a nigga to fucking marry you first? That's culture for you, man. That's culture for you. It's shameful. You're not allowed to dictate your legacy without interference. Your woman's being propped up. The white man's giving you interference, and the white woman over there using subterfuge. Ain't that a bitch? Yep, that's how you look in the courts. Frustrated. Frustrated as hell. It's fucking shameful, man. See, black fatherhood is the same guy that gets you through hard times and teaches you something that carries on life. He teaches not only character, but endurance. See, a boy, when he looks at his father, that's his first superhero. When a girl looks at her father, that's her first love. And why do you rob these children of that? See, fatherhood is not only guidance, but wisdom, the reality of the shit. It's not the sweet shit that mama's gonna tell you. It's the reality of how shit really goes. That's what that holds. Think about that. You're taking away their greatest protector, their greatest teacher, provider, problem solver, and leaving them to the wolves that are out here in this world. Fatherhood should be way more protective. But too many of us refused. Guess what, men? Like I said yesterday, it's going to have to be up to us to define what fatherhood is and no one else. It's going to be up to us to value it. And it's going to be up to us to settle for nothing but the damn best. We should not be forced into a situation. We should have just as much rights as anyone, respecting our agency. And for men who don't take care of their children, when they have more than enough opportunities to do so, you are beneath scum. You're beneath shark shit, and nothing's lower than that. Step out the way, because we're talking about the real fathers, both biological and not, and how they should be the ones with the crowns on their heads, because the king is always the one making the ultimate sacrifice. And it's about goddamn time he is hurled and respected for it. Stop settling for less. Stop settling for less. Stop allowing yourself to be disrespected. Hold your goddamn head up high. Don't be pigeonholed by anybody, and demand your respect as a black father. It's either going to be personal, judicial, or political. Either way, it is what it is. Stop settling for less. Calvin said, as a father of three sons, I built my own life, and I'm so proud of myself and my sons. Congrats. Hey, Miss Jackie, how you doing? I'm listening. What's up? We have to actually take the value to another level. Like I said, we're going to have a patriarchal party. And there's nothing against the ladies, but men, we got to come together to fix our shit. to fix our dilemma. And we're going to have to do the one thing that has never been done and challenge the politicians, challenge Congress, challenge the city councils, challenge the state senate. Not as an individual voice, but as a team of fathers, of men, to get these draconian laws, Dr. Art New Style TV, woo, out of this system, to give men back the rights that they deserve to be fathers, to be the captains of their destinies and the master of their fate. Once again, if you ever look at how much a father challenges their children to be great and you wonder why they become overachievers, that is reason enough right there. We cannot, as men, sit on our laurels and say we're happy with this shit. It's impossible. It's direly impossible. Something is going to have to give in these next few years. You're either going to be with us or you're going to be against us. We're going to have men who pray for stronger backs and not lighter loads. There's going to be burdens on us that are going to have to be carried. Yes. And ladies, the best way you can help, number one, pick the best possible father you can get. Number two, support that man as being a father. Number three, try to make it work with that father. If not, respect that father, especially in the presence of that child. Because I don't want to hear a child being told your father ain't shit. What do you think that child is going to think of themselves if they're their father's child? But y'all don't hear me though. You're right, Snowman. The challenge is on. 2022 is the start of the Patriarch Party. Is the start of men seriously developing bills for men's and fathers' rights. It starts now. The challenge is on. We're going to separate the men from the boys right now. I thought I'd give you that quick summary. If you like it, donate, like button. Like us for free at least. Donate if you feel inclined. But don't worry, I'm coming back harder. Share it with people who may not agree or do agree. Hit the comment section, light it up. Woo! Till next time, we're out.